Hey everybody, welcome to another chapter of the book of Sean. Thank you for tuning in. It is always my pleasure to see you and to have you be a part of what we endeavor to do each time we gather. I got another great show for you. My dear brother Darryl is here. Let me tell you something. What you go through shapes ultimately what you become, and it also shapes how you relate to other people, or how you struggle to relate to other people, or how people relate to you. Darryl's here tonight. I can't wait to talk to him because I want to listen to his heart. I want to listen to his life. You hear what I said? I want to listen to his life and honor his story and his journey, not just with my ears or my heart, but also with whatever wisdom life has given me, to remind him that what's coming is a whole lot better than what's been. And his fundamental commitment to himself has to be to keep his heart open, to let life surprise him. I feel like running around already. We're gonna have a good time tonight, I'm telling you. I got some Ask Dr. Sean for you. You guys sent me some great videos. Let's do some headlines first. Let's do those headlines right now. So we're sending our congratulations to the GOAT, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is an amazing athlete and shooter. He broke recently the all-time three-point shooting contest. He has made more three-pointers than anybody else in NBA history, and we send our congratulations to him. Steph, I've been around him. He's a great guy. He is a wonderful human being. Part of the reason why I like him is that he plays the game, and he lives his life with a fundamental sense of joy. To watch him play is to watch someone who is enjoying what he is doing. And Steph, we honor the good in you because it's good to see good people win. Feel free to say amen. It's good to see good people win. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of negative people getting all the attention and the shine. I'm tired of small-minded, little pessimistic, narcissistic people getting all the attention. It's good to see good people win. But here's the interesting thing about Steph Curry. His father, Dale Curry, I think his father's name is Dale Curry, his father recently told everybody, I think via Twitter, that Steph wanted to be drafted by the Knicks and not the Warriors. He wanted to be a Knick. Now check this out. He wanted to be a New York Knick and not a Golden State Warrior. And then his father added in the tweet, I believe, thank God it didn't happen. And you know when I saw that 2-3, that got down in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a word all by itself. Thank God it didn't happen. Huh? Just consider the possibility and the possibilities of all the things that we wanted to happen that had they had happened for us, it would have worked against us. There are some things we can just sit back and say in no uncertain terms unequivocally, I'm so glad life didn't listen to me. Come on, people. You know what I'm saying? How many people right now watching right now who can say, Dr. Sean, I'm so glad that God, life, whatever the hell you believe in, didn't let me date that person. I'm so glad life didn't let me marry that person. You know you want to say something. Go ahead and do it. You know you want to give thanks that the person you were so hot on in high school, who you see now, who ain't got no teeth, you glad life didn't listen to you. Let me tell you something. I believe this. I believe when it's all said and done, when we get to the end of our lives, we're going to sit back and not just thank the Creator for what happened. We're going to thank the Creator for all the things that didn't happen. All the things that we wished and prayed and hoped would happen, but ultimately failed, because you always fail at the things you're not supposed to do. Have you ever prayed for something and got it and then prayed for God to take it back? You ever prayed to be with somebody and then you were with them and then you prayed, Lord, I was just kidding. I don't want this. You ever prayed to get a job and then you got the job and now you're praying for another job because the job you got is not the job you like? I'm doing my good teaching, 2-3. I'm trying to tell you, people. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Every prayer and every job and every opportunity that we happen to lift up to the Creator, it doesn't get answered because something greater than us knows more about what's supposed to happen than we do. See, what's for you is for you. You hear me? What's for you is for you, and what's not for you is not for you. And I don't want anything that's not for me. I don't want to be drafted to a team that I'm not going to break the record with. That's Steph Curry's journey, not mine. Although I wish that was my journey because I wanted to be in the NBA. I wouldn't be talking to Darryl right now. I'd be shooting three-pointers. But that wasn't my destiny. I was not created or designed to be in the NBA. And what I've had to learn is to trust the timing of my life. I'm supposed to be right here, right now, talking to you. And nobody can do this better than me because I was born to do this. Now, there are other talk show hosts who are better, and they're better TV shows, maybe. But this, what I'm doing, can't nobody do this like me. You know I'm right. Listen, look back over your life and start giving thanks, not for the things that happened, but for the things that didn't happen, because some of those things kept you alive. Let's do another headline. So Time magazine has selected Elon Musk to be the chief executive of Tesla and SpaceX, to be his person of the year. Here's my question. Why? Why is Elon Musk the person of the year? Somebody explain this to me. I want you to explain it to me right now. Get to explaining. Start talking. I don't understand why. Why is Elon Musk the person of the year? Because of Tesla? Okay, y'all not going to say it, so I am. Teslas are ugly. Now, the insides are nice, but the outsides ain't. Why is Elon Musk person of the year? Because he sent a rocket into low orbit space? Here's a news flash, people. Human beings have already been to space. We've already been to the moon, which means we were beyond low orbit. Why is he person of the year? Because a rich white guy sends a rocket full of other rich white people into low orbit space. White folks want to make him person of the year? Why? Let's go over it again, 2, 3. You do know that human beings have been to space. Not the first time we've been to space. I mean, did Elon Musk save the planet? Did Elon Musk save America? Did he save democracy? No, he didn't do none of that. You know who the person of the year should be? Here it is. According to the Book of Sean, henceforth and forever, the person of the year is Officer Eugene Goodman. Put his picture up there. Officer Eugene Goodman, you remember him? He is the black Capitol Police officer who saved members of the United Senate literally from being lynched by an angry mob by leading them away from the Senate floor on January 6th. Officer Goodman. Officer Eugene Goodman is why Mike Pence, Chuck Schumer, and Cory Booker didn't get lynched and killed. This man literally saved lives. He saved the lives of United States senators. And by extension, he saved democracy. He helped to save democracy that day. And Time magazine didn't think that that was worthy of being person of the year. They put a rich white guy who sent other rich white people into low orbit space. After we've already been to the moon, they thought that was an accomplishment. Saving democracy, not an accomplishment. Low orbit space, accomplishment. But listen, don't be surprised about this, because there's a history of black folks saving white institutions and doing incredible things to help white culture, and white folks overlooking it like we ain't done nothing. I got a list. You want to hear it? Black soldiers saved the Union Army. Huh? Check the record, people. Without black soldiers, the Union would have lost the Civil War. Black folks, black soldiers, saved the Union cause. I got a better one for you. Ready for this? Obama saved capitalism. When Obama came into capitalism, had he not done what he did for the automotive industry, had he not done what he did for the banks, had he not done what he did, all of those moves that he made, he saved capitalism. Capitalism was dying. 2006, 2007, 2008, Obama saved it. Did he get any credit? No. Here's another one. Martin Luther King Jr. saved the Constitution of the United States of America. It was a dead piece of paper that was lying to everybody until he made it come alive and apply to everybody in the country. And here it is, Officer Goodman saved democracy by saving the United States Senate. And Time magazine didn't think that that was worthy to be person of the year. He saved democracy. Here's my word to white folks, love you, because I'm a Christian, so I love everybody, even the people that I don't understand all the time. White folks, here's my word to you, beloved. I called you beloved. That's how you know I love you. Y'all better stop overlooking the contributions of black folks and black folks going out of their way to save your institutions. Huh? Because there may come a day when we get tired of saving them. And then what are you going to do? Let's do another headline. According to text messages revealed by the House Select Committee on January 6th, we got a whole bunch of people running around with their hair on fire, texting Mark Meadows about January 6th, who spent all their time on Fox News lying about it. Donald Trump Jr., Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, just to name a few, were all people who texts Mark Meadows about Donald Trump's behavior or the lack thereof on January 6th. And we have it all in writing. All of these Fox hosts were over there texting Mark Meadows saying, please get Trump to stop this because this is devastating. It's going to ruin everything. And now we have it in writing. We have it in writing. And they've all been on Fox News running around acting like none of this ever happened and January 6th didn't happen and Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. And now we have it in writing that that's not true. Every night they're over there lying, and that's what they're doing. I don't mean to, I'm sorry, I got to call a thing a thing. They're over on Fox News lying about what happened, and now we have it in writing that they knew what was going on, they knew that Trump could stop it, they knew that he was egging it on, and they were worried about it. And now that we have it in writing, do you actually believe that the people who watch Fox News are going to change their opinions about Fox News or Laura Ingraham or Donald Trump Jr. or Sean Hannity or Donald Trump? The answer to that is absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Because they want to be lied to. They don't watch Fox News to get the truth. They watch Fox News to feel validated in their opinions. They watch Fox News so that they can feel better about who they are, even if who they happen to be is incongruent with the truth. You understand what I'm saying? The position of people now who watch Fox News, after we know everything in these text messages, here's their position. Lie to me if it makes me feel better. If it makes me feel better, give me the lie that I need. Some people would rather be lied to than know the truth. Some people would rather be lied to than confront the possibility that what they're doing is not going to work. And I'm not just talking about people that watch Fox News right now. I'm talking about people in relationships who are willing to be lied to. You know he's cheating. You know she's not faithful. You know they're not a good friend. But you'd rather be lied to than embrace the truth. You'd rather have the comfort of being comforted in a nice, convenient lie than to be uncomfortable and exposed in the bounty of the truth. Here's my word to all of you. Stop the stupid stuff. Don't let people lie to you. Accept the truth and nothing but the truth, and that's it. And if you got somebody in your life lying to you, here's what you do. You get rid of them. And then you watch the Book of Sean. Then you feel better about yourself instantly. Here's my last headline. I'm running out of time. So listen, let's play the video. Let's play the video first. Go ahead. I'll explain it later. Go ahead.
We are tipping a total of $4,400.
So this is a video of Grant Wise, who decided he wanted to tip his waitress, Ryan Brand, $4,400, okay? And you would think that's a great thing. You heard him do it. He did it in public, right? Now, he wanted that tip to go to her and the other waitress who was serving him and his group that day. Tipped him $4,000, right? Turns out the restaurant had a policy, and the policy was that the tips go to everybody. So when she went to collect, when Ryan went to collect her tip that Grant had given her, whose video you just saw, she was told, no, this tip has to be spread out among everybody who's part of the staff. She went back and told Grant what the restaurant said. Grant went to the restaurant and got his tip back, and the restaurant fired Ryan. They fired the waitress. He gave a $4,000 tip, and the tip led to her being fired. This happened in Arkansas. First, real quick, what the hell is going on in Arkansas that people get fired for doing a really good job? How do you get fired for making somebody want to get, you know how good a waitress you got to be to somebody want to give you $4,000 tip? She got fired for it. But here it is. Here's the wisdom. Daryl, listen to this wisdom. This is going to bless your life too. Here's the wisdom. It's not just the intentions that matter. Teach, Dr. Sean. You can have the best intentions in the world, but unless you consider the consequences of your intentions, you haven't completed the thought. Grant did a good thing with the best of intentions. He wanted to bless her life, but he never considered that maybe this thing might be the thing that completely makes her unemployed. So before you rush out to do something because you have such good intentions and you want people to do well, I'm not ignoring your good intentions. I'm saying think the whole thing through. Think it all the way to its logical conclusion and consider the consequences. Consider how what you're about to do is affect the person you're about to do it to, because your intentions are not enough. You don't get to avoid or obfuscate responsibility just because you meant well. Let me give you some advice, 2, 3. Don't come in my life telling me I meant well. If it didn't end well, I don't care how you meant. Let's take a break, people. I'm talking to Daryl when we come back. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about trauma. We're going to talk about childhood. We're going to talk about you. We all been there. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So listen, you guys know I love to talk to people because a part of the great joy of life is connecting with people's journeys. Tonight is no different. My dear brother is here, and I cannot wait to listen and to really, I think, learn and teach, right? Because we do both most of the time. Welcome to the show tonight, Darryl Yates. Hey, Darryl, how you doing?
I'm here. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
I'm glad. No, my day is going well.
Awesome.
I'm honored to have you, and I expect us to have a really, really good time. Before we get into what I really want to talk to you about, I always like to begin my conversations by getting to know the heart, the soul, the mind of the person with just some random questions that interest me in my benign craziness. It's not malignant craziness, it's benign craziness.
All right.
So here's the first one. What were you like in high school?
I was a nerd. I was very much a nerd in high school. I excelled in my academics. I ran track. I worked at McDonald's. I just basically was a nerd that worked, and yeah.
Yes, I love it. Give me an example of you in high school at your nerdiest. Give me something.
I don't know. I don't think it was more like something per se. It was just more like my head was always in the book.
No, give me a story. I mean, I'm getting you. Were you part of the? I don't know. The club?
No, I was very much a loner, which we'll talk about in the context of our conversations. But no, I was very much a loner, just to myself. My friends were more people that I had recognized in my church, and we kind of grew and developed relationships based off that. And those people that came to high school, we were cool. I was cool with as well. But I just was not necessarily in a group. I didn't necessarily fit in.
I got that. And like you said, we're going to talk more about that, later on, because I know that ties in to a part of why we were so excited to have you here. Here's another random question, totally unrelated to most of this interview or this conversation. What's been your favorite moment of 2021?
The job that I just accepted today.
Today?
Yeah, this morning.
Wait a minute, congratulations, man.
Thank you. I'm an IT project manager for a company called Fortuitous.
Oh boy, congratulations on that. So listen, I'm glad I'm glad I asked the question.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me follow up on that and ask you, because again, this is happening towards the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So this new opportunity is coming towards the end of the year. Tell me what 2021 taught you. What did it teach you?
I think 2021 taught me to always kind of trust in my gut feeling, and also to always try to approach life from a positive standpoint. I mean, there's been a lot of challenges in my life, I would say. And I think the one thing that I've always kind of dealt with is, how do you always stay positive in times of adversity? Because that's what shows your character, right? When you're like positive and you can go through adversity and not let it affect those around you or the people that you love. And that's always been a challenge for me. When things were good, everything is good. But when things weren't good, how is my attitude going forward? And I think in 2021, because of COVID and because of life situations, I've been able to kind of manifest a situation, like a sense of not worrying and just trusting in a higher power that's going to actually make things work. And just accepting the things that I can control and accepting the things I can't, and just, trusting in a higher power to kind of maneuver when things ain't as good as I think they should be.
Tell me about a time this year when you had to manifest that wisdom.
Okay. Essentially, I came from a financial services background. I was a financial specialist at a bank. And then I went into marketing, and I started in marketing in 2010. And I've always worked for smaller companies. And a lot of times smaller companies don't necessarily have the resources. So I've always had to kind of bob and weave. And because of COVID, I started a marketing company called Co-Creative Media. And it was very challenging because of COVID, because the companies that I work with are smaller companies. So the budgets went, and when the budget goes, you go. And I think the I guess usually my response to that growing up would be more just, throw a tantrum and be mad. But now I was just like, you know what? Everything else works out for a reason. So my reason is this, and I'm just going to let it be. And I didn't take I would say the regular approach for Daryl. I took a new approach, and I just tried to kind of manifest my destiny and also kind of like have faith in something other than me. Yeah. And I wasn't able to do that without my friends and my family. So, yep.
Listen, it's a great story, actually. When I asked you the question, I could see on your face you gave me the, but I don't regret asking you that, and I don't regret asking you that because there's always a method to my madness. When I ask you to go down into the story, it's because I'm trying to situate you back in your narrative, right? Because the major part, absolutely, the major part of what we want to do tonight is to really look at your story, look at your narrative. And obviously we don't have time to go through all of the ups and downs and the lefts and rights of your childhood. But if you had to name your trauma, right, that grows out of your youthful childhood experience, what would the trauma be called?
I would call it, I would say that I have abandonment issues. I would probably knock on 100% with abandonment issues. Just growing up in a really small town, my mom was white, my dad is black, and it was always trying to identify with one culture or another. And in that town and culture, it was very challenging to do. I was always too white to be black and too black to be white. I always navigated more so towards the African-American side, even though I'm fairly like light skinned. I just like the culture. And I was always able to be proud of that. But I think growing up, it was always a challenge in terms of accepting that that part of me that I couldn't understand how it was to be both.
Yeah, a child of two worlds, right? Yeah, a son of night and day, of thunder and lightning.
That guy.
Yeah, but you look like us, so black folks, we come in a range of colors and rainbows, and yet we often underestimate the particular journeys of people, right?
Right.
Because if you look like us, we assume, well, you're one of us the way the rest of us are one of us. But your journey represents something different. I'm zealous to ask you, therefore, how is that trauma, abandonment, right? That fundamental angst. How is that manifesting in your life now, today?
It just allows it. In a way, it's helped a lot, but in a way, it's kind of, I would say it helped and hurt. And I mean it to say, like, now I have boundaries. I'm grown, so I understand like what it is to have boundaries. When I was younger, I didn't have these same boundaries, so I was so wanting validation for who I was, and now I'm just like, I'm me, But it's always been a challenge. But I think now, because I'm older, and I did, I feel like it's something that everybody should explore. I'm very conscious on mental health. So I think it's something to be explored, but I have a therapist and we discuss things. And, one of the things I realized is I was not necessarily having boundaries because I was so wanting somebody to say, you're good enough. I love you just for you. And I got that, but it didn't come from the people I would expect it to come from. It didn't come from my mom or, like, it came from my brothers and sisters, but we were different. Everything was different. Like, we don't have a close, tight-knit family. We all are us. We all love each other. But there's a different type of dynamic between the people that I love as my family and my friends, because I feel like my friends are my family because of that.
And how are you with commitment? Most people with abandonment issues struggle with it.
I don't mind committing because I feel like committing is a matter of your character and your loyalty. I just don't waste my time on people that I can't commit to.
You see my face?
I see your face.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I get that. Say that again a different way.
I don't think I should. I think I don't commit to people that I shouldn't commit to. In other words, in my past, because of the lack of validity and the things that I wanted, I've accepted things that I don't need to accept because
So let me ask you that. How do you have abandonment issues then? How do abandonment issues manifest themselves in your journey?
I won't commit. But I won't commit to those. I mean, I'm confused as to the question. No, I won't commit because of past experiences, but I also can recognize bullshit, stuff that doesn't necessarily, I can recognize things that are a little bit different as opposed to when I was 20, things are a little bit different. So now I'm just like, there's boundaries that you should get through. There's a situation where you have to, understand your worth. And it's not that I wouldn't commit, but I think my past issues with abandonment creates an anxious attachment style that prevents me from committing.
Got it. So what's your pattern in relationship? Most of us have a pattern. What's your pattern as it relates to hold on, let me finish the question. What's your pattern as it relates to the sort of negative connotations of relationships? So you have a positive pattern, I'm sure. What's the negative pattern?
I think it's more of when I get into relationships, I tend to lose a sense of self because I'm so amped about the relationship, and so then my actions exude a sense of I'm gonna make sure you're good so you can make sure I'm good too. And usually what happens is I end up giving too much, and you can't fill your cup on empty. And I ended up giving till I'm empty. And so to avoid that, in the last couple of years, I've just decided, hey, it's best for me to just work on myself and figure out.
Daryl, hold on 1 second. So what happens when you give too much? What happens in that relationship when you give too much?
Usually people take advantage of that and they kind of run with it. I mean, it's just, yeah, I think they just run with it, and they, I know it's my responsibility to keep that boundary. And so now my, I guess, psyche is aware of that. So that's why I'm more of a, let me just not. But yeah, usually when I give too much, they take advantage of that. And I've been in places where I've been taken advantage of a lot. And I just kind of like, it's like if you get burned by fire once, right? You're not gonna put your hand in the fire again. Like you just start slowly figuring out ways to resist the fire and the heat. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. Doesn't mean I'm cold and heartless and I won't. It just means that I understand that the patterns in those relationships haven't necessarily been conducive to what I would like to do. So I have to be able to navigate and maneuver just as human life, bob and weave, kind of sort of ebb and flow.
Yeah, no, listen, I got to take a break, but I totally get what you're saying. And what you're saying, for everybody that's watching, that is the sort of classic experience of having a commitment issue, right? The thing you have to learn, not just Daryl, but everybody, is that every place you put your hand isn't fire. Fire isn't everywhere. But experience, your experiences teach you. What'd you say, Daryl?
I said, experience will teach you that fire is everywhere.
Well, no. Not everybody ain't fire.
You're right.
Some people are, a lot of people ain't. We're gonna do some more when we come back. We got some more work to do. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, I'm talking to Daryl. Daryl, so let me ask you this. I guess what I would be interested in knowing is what do you want? Like when you think about relationships and when you think about how you want to exist and show up in one and how you want somebody to show up for you, what do you want?
At this point in my life, man, I'm old enough to recognize that the key to a successful relationship is like communication and friendship and loyalty. Being able to trust someone, like just like a best friend in a way. I think those are the key. I think friendship is the key to longevity in relationships. I mean, if you think about it, like sex only goes so far, right? And then you have to have some type of connection, some type of, a vulnerability that could be respected, and trusted.
Mm. Are
So yeah,
you,
that's what I'd be looking for if I was looking, but I'm not looking.
you're not looking?
Nah,
Okay.
I don't look for situations. They just happen. I just have to be cognizant of when they happen in my life.
Mm. Mm. That's interesting. So if
But
if a situation manifested itself, you would do what?
um, I mean, I would engage, right? I mean, you never make a shot you don't take. So it's always about engaging. But if the vibe was off or there's something that would cause a sense of distress in my life, then I'd have to kind of make sure that boundary went up to avoid any type of like detriment to me.
Mm-hmm.
No more detriment to me. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh.
Now, what would you say to someone who said that a part of finding love, a part of being in a relationship, involves risk, involves putting yourself in a position where you could be hurt, you could experience detriment?
I would say that I've done that. Experience is the best teacher. Um, you know, I think anything in life worth having is worth taking a risk to have, right? It's just more of a matter of how much of a risk can you take, you know? It's I would call it calculated risk if you could do that. It wouldn't be something that I would just jump into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If
You know,
it,
I think like if you were to buy a house, you know, you don't know the house's condition. Um, but say you were to buy a house, like say I buy a house out of state, I don't know the house's condition. I don't know what the house is going through. It might look good on the outside, but it could be damaged on the inside. My job would be to figure out what the inside is and then work through that to see if it'd be something that I would want to either keep or let go.
mm, yeah. Have
We
you, Daryl? Let me ask you this: have you ever had a fulfilling, long-term relationship?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have several.
Mm-hmm.
I don't are you asking about the level? Are you talking I mean, because I have several like great friends and I've had people in my life that are we've been intimate at one point and then we're no longer on that wavelength, but we kind of transcended that. So yeah, I have those people.
Mm-hmm. So is there, as I listen to you, um, I suspect that I'm hearing that you've developed the need or the ability to draw boundaries, right? To let people in when they have proven themselves to be worthy of a certain access.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I used to start out at A, you know, everybody gets an A at the beginning of the semester, right? You start out at A and then they kind of work their way down depending on, you know, their experiences. I don't start at A. I start at 0 now and like you work your way up because I know my worth and I know my value and my energy and I just know what I'm trying to exude. I think the reality is I have understood or I know my deficiencies as a human. I know my character flaws, the things that I could work on. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no denying that, you know, as a human, there are some things that I could definitely work on. However, in knowing so, I want a partner to actually have that knowledge of self as well and be able to kind of go there too. Because what has happened is because I wasn't there for myself, you know, I have allowed things to come through to validate me because I wasn't strong enough. And I think that those things definitely take a part in my wanting to be in a relationship again.
mm,
But I also know that I know what a healthy relationship looks like now, and I didn't before.
mm,
So I think knowledge is power.
mm. We all have a soundtrack that sort of plays in our minds and in our heads, right? Something that sort of goes over and over again at different stages of our lives. What's been your most consistent soundtrack that's played in your head and your mind?
um, ooh. Honestly, this is gonna sound really weird, but it's always hit in my mind. What's love got to do with it? Tina Turner. Like, yeah. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Mm,
Kind of like, I mean, and it sounds heartless, but it's really not. It's more like love is an emotion. It's a logical feeling. It's something that we feel as humans. We feel a sense of love. We have a sense of spiritual love. We have a sense of friendship love, and we have a sense of romantic love. And I think when it comes down to my experiences, my sense of romantic love has always kind of been defined by my relationships paternally growing up. So, or just like from a familiar perspective, right? So, you know, defining love now is a lot different from then because I can understand that it's an emotion that you feel. And sometimes it defies logic, right? Some people would just, you know, there are things that love does, that emotion can defy logic. But I think at this point in my life, I'm more of a logic driven person. So with the sense of understanding that, you know, people are human. I love the human factor, man. We're human. So you're going to make mistakes. Ain't nobody perfect. Mr. Sean ain't perfect either. But I think the thing about it is recognizing the things that, you know, you have challenges with and really just growing on those things and becoming a better person because of those things. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm. So here's my last question for you. Give me a short answer because I got to take a break.
Oh man,
what's your statement to the world about how you understand relationship and your place in it?
I think relationships are a necessity for humans. Like I think we all have to have those relationships. I think the reality is that, you know, with the advent of technology and soon, like this is all going to be digital. So it's important to establish the types of bonds and relationships that you have. But always execute boundaries. Like just always try to, you know, it's good to feel vibes, it's good to feel emotions, and those things make us human. But also realize when something isn't good for you and be able to let go.
Yeah. No, listen, thank you for that. Thank you for being on tonight, Daryl. Listen, we're going to take a break. When I come back, we'll do some Ask Dr. Sean, and I'm going to think a little bit about what Daryl's given us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So, listen, you had a chance to listen to Daryl and to sort of get a sense of where he is and what he thinks. And I'm going to treat that interview, that conversation, as if it were an Ask Dr. Sean moment, because I intentionally didn't do a lot with that conversation. I intentionally just sort of let him give me what was in his heart and in his mind. And here's why. Because I realized somewhere in the middle of that I'm talking to a very hurt person. I'm talking to someone who is profoundly wounded and broken. And I don't mean broken as in a debilitating sort of negative way, but broken because people have messed, people have lied, people have disappointed. And once I realized that I'm talking to someone who is carrying a cross, it's not my job at that moment to make that cross heavier. It's my job is to let your sorrow talk, to let your burden have language, to give you the space to express what is the best and yes, what is the worst of what you've picked up. You see, abandonment does that to you. Now, I don't know what the conditions and the circumstances surrounding how he has come to feel that way. I know where my abandonment comes from, and you guys who watch the show, you know where it comes from as it relates to me. But whenever you have some part of your life, at the early stages of your life, that's an incomplete question, a dangling sentence, right? You go through life constantly trying to figure out what the rest of the clause should be. You enter into relationships, into spaces and opportunities, either overcompensating, defending yourself, or completely not showing up. I wish that whoever knew our dear brother in the morning of his years had given him the kind of confidence that he deserves and still deserves, and that he would be able to show up in every moment of his life and in every relationship, not being so committed to boundaries. Because when you have abandonment issues, and I'm speaking from experience, you do both of those things. Either you have no boundaries or you have extreme boundaries. And what we've seen tonight in this conversation is both of those pendulums swinging to move from having no boundaries at all to being so committed to boundaries and borders that it becomes almost impossible for someone to enter into your life with goodwill. A lot of people watching tonight probably feel the same way because you've been hurt and you've been messed over and wounded, and people have done horrible things to you in the name of love, in the name of relationship. People came into your space telling you that they cared about you only to do things that would destroy you had they had their way. That's what I heard. And that's what I understood. And that's what I understand from you. And that's what you should understand, because all of us have been hurt by somebody. But here's the thing that I want you to understand, both from this conversation and going forward into the rest of your life. I said it to him, but he was not ready to receive it. I'm going to say it to you, and we'll see if you're able to receive it now. Not every place you put your hand is going to be hot stove. Not everybody you try to bring into your life is going to destroy you, hurt you, kill you, ruin you. Even if everybody you've ever been connected to, everybody you've ever known or talked to did that, there are still good people in the world. And we ought to never lose our capacity to be hopeful about the fact that we can find the kind of fulfillment that we want and the kind that we deserve. If you start thinking that everybody and even the ground that you stand on is hot lava, as it were, then you'll never find peace anywhere. And you'll never find any relationship in which you can manifest yourself and the best of yourself can show up. And then what do you lose? Ultimately, you've lost the thing that all of us should want the most, and that is to be ourselves in fullness in the presence of somebody else. I know you've been hurt. I know you've had to deal with things and with people and craziness, but do not lose the ability to let people in. It doesn't mean you got to let them all the way in to your innermost sanctum and feelings and thoughts and experiences and hearts and sufferings and fears and anxieties, but do not be so hurt and so wounded that you won't let people in enough to love you, to surprise you, to convince you that though they may be imperfect, they may be perfectly suited to love you. And that has to be our commitment. That's a choice that all of us have to make. We have to make that decision ourselves. After you've been hurt, and after you've been wounded, and after you've been disrespected and despised, can you find the courage, and can you summon the bravery to get back in the middle of your life and to not let what they did to you determine what you're willing to do to yourselves? Because you owe it to yourself on some level to allow yourself the space and the time that you need to be more fully who you are. So I wish the best for him. I hope that he finds exactly what he's looking for, and I hope that life gives him all of the blessing, all of the love that he can handle. My only concern is that a lot of it he's not able to handle yet. I want life to give him rivers of compassion and oceans of companionship, but that may not be where he is right now. But let's not talk about him. Where are you? Is your heart open? If love knocked on your door, would you receive it? And if it knocked on the door and didn't show up the way that you thought it would you let it in? Would you let love in? If you found the love that you need and the love that you wanted, but it came in a form that you would normally reject, would you let it in? Would you open the door? Or would you run it through all of the recriminations and heartbreaks and failures that you've had over your life, only to push it away and do to yourself in secondhand what someone did to you years ago? So, love is hard. Relationships are complicated. Conversations like these are important. Not for the moment, but for the future. Because whether you know it or not, love is going to find you again. And I'm hoping because of this moment, you'll be a lot more ready than you were when we started this hour. Let's take a break. I'll do some Ask Dr. Sean. Welcome back, everybody. So let's do some Ask Dr. Sean. Take a look at a video sent to me by Amber.
Hi, Dr. Sean. My name's Amber. I was hoping that you'd help me settle a disagreement my boyfriend and I are having this holiday season. I want my boyfriend to go with me to my family's Christian Christmas dinner, and he's Muslim. He's not willing to go. He says that I'm being unreasonable for asking him to go. I think he's being a little unreasonable for not being willing to go. It's just dinner. What's your advice? What's the compromise?
Thank you, Amber. Wow. Listen, okay. So first of all, it's not just dinner, Amber. It's Christmas dinner. If it was just dinner, he probably would go. But it's Christmas dinner. Maybe the way to introduce this to her would have been to say it's just, let's come over for dinner. Don't emphasize the Christmas. But let me ask you a question. Since you asked me a question, I'm going to ask you a little question. Here it is. You did know that he was Muslim when you started dating him, right? And he didn't know you were a Christian when he started dating you, right? And I'm sure the two of you had conversations about what that would mean and what the boundaries were as it relates to how you impose your religious sensibilities on each other. You see, I say it all the time, 2, 3. I'm going to say it again. Before you date somebody who's in a different sort of frame of mind, way of life, religion, all of that, make sure you have these conversations and agreements and understanding. So when you get to the moment, you've already decided what you were going to do. But since you're here, let me help you, because this is what I do. Okay. What I would say to him is this. As long as you don't feel comfortable coming, as long as you don't feel like you should be there, then you shouldn't be there. You don't want him to show up and be at the dinner and be absolutely uncomfortable being there. You don't want him to blow up and mess up your Christmas dinner with your family, because that's exactly what's going to happen if you insist upon getting your way. Try to be sensitive to who he is and what his journey is, and not so committed to the presentation that you want to give to your family about your relationship. Because you going to the dinner without him, you've gone to many of those dinners without him, I'm sure. You won't die, or nobody will end up in the hospital because he's not there. It's just the presentation that you want to make to your family about your relationship. And I understand that. But the moment you step back from that and decide that the most important thing is not the presentation that I make, but the feelings, the life, the journey, and the faith of the man that I love, then you begin to understand, and you find the courage to say to your family, listen, he's Muslim. He don't do Christmas. He won't be here for that. I accepted him for what he was when I met him, and you're going to have to accept him as he is whenever he shows up. So are you being unreasonable? A little bit. Maybe even a little selfish. Is he being unreasonable? A little bit. And probably a little selfish. And this is a wonderful opportunity for the two of you to redefine and to reassess what the boundaries and understandings and agreements of your relationship are. This moment is teaching both of you that whatever agreements you had before, they're not working and they're not clear. It's time to sit down and draw some new ones, all right? Don't make this about the dinner. Don't make this about Christmas. Make this about your understanding of each other, your respect for each other, and what you understand and will receive from each other. Make it about that, and you might have a future beyond Christmas. Make it about the dinner, and y'all might not survive through Christmas Eve. Let's do another video sent in by, is it Ike?
Hey, Dr. Sean, my name is Ike. I'm a Louisiana native living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have a question for you. So, I've been dating someone for 3 months. Do you think it's too soon to invite them to my family's Christmas party?
Thank you, Ike, for the video. Not necessarily, no, not necessarily. I mean, normally I say be slow to introduce people to children, right? Because you don't know if they're, if they're going to be around. But, grown folks, if you feel like this person is special enough for you to want to introduce them to the family, then do it, as long as they concur. And that goes back to what I said in the last question. Don't make this about a performance. Don't make this relationship a way for you to make a statement to your family, right? If it's just you genuinely wanting to introduce and to integrate, right, your love life with your family life, then that's fair. There's never a right time to do these things. Well, that's not true. If you've been dating somebody for like a week, they probably shouldn't meet your family. But after 3 months, that might actually be a responsible time to sort of start to introduce them. And sometimes it's better to introduce them, to the whole clan, depending on the clan, in a party sort of setting. I don't see any problem with that. But I think it depends on the particularities of you, the person you're dating, and the family you're introducing them to. Now, here's what you don't want to do, Ike. You ready? Don't ambush them. Don't have them walk into a situation where they're going to be grilled and given a third degree, because they're going to become defensive immediately and resent the fact that you ever asked them to be there. You might want to prepare your family and also prepare the person that you love and care about for the experience, and let both of them know what your expectations are, right? For them as it relates to each other. Let them know your family, and let them know let the person you love know what they're going to expect from each other, and then let them know what you're hoping will be what happens, when the two of them, that is your love and your family, get together. Because that's important. We throw people into scenarios and we say to them, well, go on and swim. And we don't give them enough background information for them to be successful. You don't want to come out of Christmas with resentment, in the same way the last questioner doesn't want to come out of Christmas with no relationship because she's dating a Muslim who don't want to do Christmas dinner. That's a no-brainer to me. I wouldn't expect my Muslim person. Anyway, back to you, Ike. So make sure that you prepare and that you're clear, and make sure that you are gentle and merciful with missteps. Make sure that you curate the experience and you're explaining to both sides of the equation what's going on. I don't think that it's too soon to do it. I don't think that there's any right time to do it. I think the wrong time is anything less than a month. That's way too soon to introduce somebody to your family. But 3 months, I think you're kind of on the way. I wish you well with this. You guys enjoy your Christmas and make sure, you know, that everybody is on their best behavior, okay? Because we don't want the holidays to turn into World War III. You know? Right, 2-3? We don't want that to be the case. Listen, everybody, thank you for watching. Listen, people, you guys have a wonderful holiday, okay? Make sure you do your best, your good shopping and your good gift giving. Be careful out there. Don't get the COVID. Wear your mask, people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be good to each other. Remember Jesus. It's his birthday, not yours. Y'all be good to each other. I love you.